All right, so we want to sketch this graph, 3 minus 5 sine pi x plus pi over 4, and then find all this stuff about it. One thing we need to do first is we need to rewrite this equation. So remember that this is just really two things. We got what we're adding, and then all the rest of the stuff is over here. So this is really negative 5 sine of pi x plus pi over 4, and then plus 3. Remember that when there's nothing in front of it, it's an automatic plus sign. So we can fill in some basic info before we even get started. I know that since this is a sine wave, my domain's negative infinity to infinity. My amplitude is just the number that's in front of the sign. Yeah, I need to get used to my clicking skills. Whereas the shift is the plus 3. So my amplitude is the absolute value of negative 5, which is just 5. My vertical shift is just up 3. Okay? The range would be negative 5 to 5, but remember that we're going up 3. So that means that the range goes plus 3, plus 3. So my range is negative 2 to 8. All right, let's find stuff on the inside here. So I have this pi and the plus pi over 4. So the phase is the plus pi over 4. And that's how much that pi x moves. That's the shift of, and I already forgot if it was a sine or cosine. It's a sine. The shift of sine of pi x. Okay, now the horizontal shift, again, all we got to do to find the horizontal shift, you could use the formula, but I like just working it out. So from here, I can say minus pi over 4. Okay, and to save room, I'm going to erase it, but when we subtract pi over 4 from each side, we end up with negative pi over 4 pi x. And then 2 minus a fourth is 7 pi over 4. And the last step is to divide by pi. And when you divide by pi, basically all the pi's just go away. And so we're left with negative 1/4 x 7/4. So my graph started at 0, and it shifted to negative 1/4. And so my horizontal shift is going to be negative 1/4. And that's the shift of sine of x. All right. So anyway, my period, we can use the formula. The period is just 2 pi divided by the number in front of x. Well, the number in front of x is just pi. So 2 pi over pi, it's just 2. And the length of the quarter is just a quarter of that. So 1/4 times 2 is just 1/2. That means when I'm creating my box, it's going to start at negative 1/4. I'll put these up top since I wrote all over the bottom. It's going to start at negative 1/4. It's going to go to 7/4. And each of these tick marks is going to be a half. Okay, so negative 1/4 plus a half is positive 1/4. And you can use your calculator if you want. Plus a half gives me 3/4. Okay, plus another half is 5/4. And then we have 7/4 on the other side. Okay, the range tells you the upper and lower bounds. It goes from negative 2 to 8. Okay, the shift is the middle number. The shift was 3. And I know that this is a upside down sine wave. Upside down sine looks like that. So I know my graph is going to start here, and it's going to make this shape. Now all I got to do is put it in the context of the bigger picture down here. So my box is from negative 1/4 to 7/4, negative 1/4 to 7/4, and then from negative 2 to 8. So my box is right here. Remember, each of the quarters was 1/2 away. So quarter, quarter, quarter. 3 was the middle. And so now I can just recreate the picture that I did. And if you want to extend it, you just extend the idea. Over 2, back to the middle. Over 2, back up top. Over 2, back to the middle. Over 2, back down here. 2 up top. Over 2, back to the middle. And so you can just keep graphing the sine wave. There you go. Okay, so this is a good example of something you would see on the test. Now on the test, I'd provide the box for you to help you out. And I provide this because giving you a graph down here makes it easier for me to grade. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions. And on the homework, it's going to give you pictures of each one. So again, it's really easy to cheat and just to type it into Desmos and see which one it matches. But the skill here is being able to graph it yourself, being able to create your box and know where your important peaks and valleys are, which is what the length of each quarter. You move over a quarter to get to a peak, x-intercept, another peak, and then the x-intercept again. Anyway, that's about it. Have a good one.